Today in /malicious compliance. Formal complaint about Fomral Complaint earned me my Uni Degree. So we bit, if background on this. I was studying at a university within Scotland doing an ed course. After the third year, which passing means a minimum of passing the fourth year means it's an honours degree, I took a year out to do a sandwich placement as an optional part of my course. Loved it, but had some issues at the uni side. But I had completed it to allow my degree to become a sandwich degree. Also, like most places, Scottish unis have tuition fees, but unlike some, the government pays it in a lot of circumstances, so it's rare for the fees to be charged to the student themselves. I start my fourth year and it goes off very, very badly. I went in to register for the modules to do for the year and I find out that my course had changed while I was away on placement, and the uni was forcing me to do a lot of classes I have no experience in, and the module description says it needed a third year equivalent in which I didn't have. A day that I should have been in and out within 30 minutes registered. I ended up only submitting my registration a week later. I ended up with a lot of modules I need to do 2 years of work during my honors degree while working on a year-long project, which never seemed to get beyond the planning stage with constant objections from the uni. It goes about as well as it sounds, and really affected my mental health. I ended up dropping out, which I did, sending an email to the appropriate person. After 2 weeks of no response, I sent an email dropping out to the backup person for dropping out. Because I dropped out pre-Xmas, I had to a few hundred in the tuition fees as it was too early for the government to cover it, which I did so I could just get my degree from third year and move on quickly. Then I got charged another bill to get the degree itself, which I totally disagreed with, talking about some hundred. This was all the uni's fault, so why should I pay at all to get something I already earned? So I logged a formal complaint, spanning 4 pages over various issues I had with the uni, from them the issues they caused while on placement to them charging me for 3 weeks I wasn't attending classes, 1 week due to registration issues, 2 due to dropping out, to poor substandard resources that meant 1 quiet day where I was one of 4 people on a network. It took 2 hours to print a small document, under 10 pages, among many other things. I argued that this was the uni's fault, and I already overpaid the fees I paid and was willing to not request a refund to just get my degree. I got a response back responding to only 2 parts. 1. The uni infrastructure is old, so when it's busy it's slow. 2. I am required to drop out in writing. As I did it by mail, it didn't count first time. Obviously, both points is this network was barely used and still dying. Mail request is legally recognized as being in writing and accepted in my second mail attempt, and they ignored another 10 points. So I responded back. This created a back and forth for a year. Nearly asked me to call the dean of students, where she ended up going, "You don't pay that fee, you don't get the degree, simple end of." I ended up losing my cool and swore at her whilst saying it's that simple. At the end they said if I wanted to proceed with the complaint, I would need to take the uni to court over it, which would cost me more money than I was trying to avoid spending. I didn't want to go to court over this, but I didn't want to admit defeat. I was so dissatisfied with how the complaints process went. If only I could complain about the complaints process. Then it hit me. Log of a formal complaint about the handling of my formal complaint. So I got my first complaint, to quote it, added an introduction saying I was unhappy with the handling if the complaint to the point I don't believe the uni read it properly, and added a new ending too. Almost the next day, I got a call from a familiar voice from the complaints team. "Scott, we got your New complaint. It's the same as the last one, so we can proceed with it. I had a shit-eating grin as I said, "It is a new complaint. It's about your handling of my last complaint and how you don't read complaints properly, as you clearly hear as you would known that otherwise you wouldn't have said this is the same complaint as the first." She was caught off guard and hung up on me. A week later, I got another call from someone new. I forgot where he normally worked in the Uni. "Hi, I'm at the Uni. I've been asked to be an independent complaint reviewer over your second complaint. Going to be honest, your new one is not going anywhere, so I'd suggest to drop it. However, I was forced to review your original complaint, and I see merit in it. So if you agree to it, I will send your degree to you and you drop all complaints to the Uni." Of course, I accepted that deal, and surely enough, I got my degree with no additional costs the Uni tried to biz me out of, and that is how a formal complaint about a formal complaint earned me my Uni degree in it. Edit. Should have added the standard notice about language. Native English speaker but dyslexic. So this originally had some spelling mistakes, but upon request fixed it now, I think. Thankfully, this wasn't over an English degree. Also, this was typed on my phone. Edit 2. Can we please end? Should have correction stuff. It got pointed out early, fixed, and I've learned from it, thanks to some great explanations from those that pointed out the mistake early. However, it is still being discussed like the issue is still in this op. It is not. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the bell, and whatever else our YouTube overlords require nowadays.